Hello and welcome back to Retrotainment Recast. I'm in the judge's seat again. I was usurped with a bad decision, and I am calling it a bad decision, but such is life.
Still
I
bitter
don't want
after
to.
his week off. Still bitter.
I
That's what I
enjoyed my
like to
week off
see.
now. I
That's
will
what I
say.
like to see. That's what I like to. I like to see a man who's bitter about being harshly done, still being bitter a week later. I like to see it.
I just like winning, lads. Let's be fair.
Of course.
I'm very, very glad that I'm the judge on this one rather than. I actually would have preferred not to be on this one because I actually don't like this movie at all. Never found it entertaining. I've seen it twice. It's one of the only times that we've actually had a movie come on that I haven't gone and rewatched. I even rewatched Princess Brides when we done it at the
But
start.
the
of
Princess
this year.
Bride is incredible.
That's a great film as well.
It is, but I
Yeah.
hadn't seen it in so long, and I didn't really like it growing up. But I will say it definitely tore my head. But I wasn't going to rewatch this one. Let's.
No, I rewatched this.
Remember the 5th of November.
I think
Guy Fawkes, mate.
I did say it to yourself, like to both of you before I came on, before we started that. I think if I'd seen this when I was 14 or 15, I probably would have loved it. Because it's got a lot of that anti-establishment stuff that when you're growing up and you're kind of in your teenage years, you're very against any sort of establishment. It doesn't really matter what establishment. So I think I would have
School.
loved it. Yeah, like I think I would have loved it then. And because I had that love for it, I would have remembered it really, really fondly. Whereas I didn't see it until a couple of years later. And I was like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not incredible by any stretch of the imagination. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just when you see it.
I was 14 when I saw it in the cinema, so
That's what I mean. So like if you see it at that age, you're gonna remember that fondness for it and like the nostalgia of what you felt when you first seen it. So like I can understand why it was really popular, because it was an anti-establishment film that was UK based, whereas usually it's an American based anti-establishment thing. So it would have been a bit closer to home and stuff as well.
If you haven't guessed by the remember the 5th of November, or you didn't see last week's episode, it is V for Vendetta. And having gone straight off on a rant on that one, I will introduce the challenger here, Mr. Ted. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Still bitter that I was knocked off because Sherlock was sick. Still bitter about that. Because if I hadn't been, then I would have been in for Hercules last week, or Hercules 2 weeks ago. Sorry,
I think lads, I get sick. Okay.
Yeah, listen, I'm just saying, if I'd been in for Hercules, I feel the list I sent in, because I actually did end up matching quite a few with Sherlock, who was judging. I think I would have won it, and then we would have got a nice triple threat. So I'm still bitter about that, but you know,
it was your list was good, to be fair.
Yeah,
it was good. Obviously I had Jack Black elsewhere, but yeah, Jack Black as Phil probably fits
in perfectly, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you could see him doing Pain and Panic as well.
I can see him doing them, but not with Kyle Gass, because I think their banter, like the way they bounce off each other, is just different to what's needed there. Like they're more like weird than they are idiotic. Do you know what I mean? They're more.
I mean, let's be fair. Bobcat wasn't exactly the straightest of characters in life.
No, but I'm just saying the two of them, when the two of them get together, they bounce off each other. They're more weird and outlandish than they are like dopey and idiotic.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Makes sense. Then there was another good episode last week that I got to sit out. 300 was good though, lads. It is a good watch.
It was tough. It was tough to recast.
Tough one, yeah. A very close episode as well.
Yeah.
Nail later at the end.
Came down to the wire, all right.
Yeah, nobody really chose a good Leonidas, really.
It's a tough one to do, isn't it?
I feel I had a very good Leonidas.
I scraped through that one.
That's what champion does, you know.
I was most happy with my Leonidas and Alex Skarsgård.
Didn't like Alex Skarsgård either. I think I said it on the show that he would have won based off who the other two lads.
Yeah,
but I didn't like it either.
I mean, McGregor might be the worst pick that's ever been picked.
Absolutely, he's not. Big E was the worst pick that's ever been
No,
picked.
Big E
No.
is way better than McGregor. Big E, at least you know that he has some sort of acting chops because he does voice work and stuff on acting at the
Well,
moment.
Some sort of likability as well.
You're also now saying that, but Conor McGregor's been cast in Roadhouse remake, so
Yeah,
he's
but
been cast in a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, but we don't know what he's doing in it, so we don't know if he's
He's
any
got to
good.
be the owner of the pub, I'd say.
Yeah, but we don't know like how good he's going to be, so you can't judge off that, you know.
I can't imagine he's going to be the main character now.
No, but
Oh no,
That's
Jake
a female-
Gyllenhaal's the main character, isn't he?
Gyllenhaal's maining, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Gyllenhaal. Yeah, so he's going to be the owner of the bar, I'd say.
Hopefully, it's just a 2-minute scene and he dies. But however,
No, but they're not putting his name on the front of it. Although Roadhouse is a shit movie, though, lads. I didn't like the original one either, so I'm probably not going to be too pushed to go and see it. And then of course we do have the champ, who's sitting there. You've only got 2 names, chap. Carl Sherlock. You can't do it 3 times. I can do it
what I
3
want.
times.
I can do what I want. I'm the champ.
Ted, how's that 7-0 win looking for you?
What? Well, I don't know if I'll be getting 7-0 with some of these. I was saying to Sherlock before you got in. Obviously, we didn't give each other picks, but I said there's a few of these I don't know. I don't know if you'll like the way I've gone with them, but that's always the risk. I
have gone with a full. It's the second time this has happened because I did it for Shaun of the Dead as well. I've gone with a full British cast.
I did not go full British.
Of where it's based.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't know full British either.
That did occur to me, but I said I'm going to stick with some of the people I have and not worry about the fact that they're British. I believe they're good enough to put on a British accent if needed.
Yeah, that is the thing, really. Which was strange because like when you look at some of the people in this, they were really big, but in England and in Ireland and Europe, but never really broke. Like Stephen Rea.
Yeah, never broke.
Never really broke. Should have. Much better actor than he gets credit for. You have Stephen Fry, who I cannot stand.
I like Stephen Fry.
I like
anything.
Stephen Fry.
No,
I like
can't
Stephen
stand him
Fry.
in anything.
I'm sure he even got his appearance in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a cunt in that too.
No, I like he was, but I do like Stephen Fry.
Yeah, me too. Especially his old stuff, his old comedy with Hugh Laurie. Very funny.
I never bought into him in anything. But sure, such is life. I know people that don't like Jim Carrey and stuff as well. So
wrong people.
Right, lads, do you want to send your picks in?
Yeah.
Before this intro goes on for about 15 hours.
Yeah. Right.
1, 2, 3.
There you go. Sent in.
I have 2. Perfect.
Did King send you one?
He did not.
All right, so let's be on the 3 amigos, the original 3.
He did say that he'd get it over to me if he could before work, but
yeah, no, that's grand. We'll just
I'd say the man was sleeping. You know, it's
fair.
Night shifts aren't easy.
No, yeah, that's grand. I was just wondering, did he send one on?
Yeah, so it's the original trio.
Yeah,
it is indeed
the OGs.
And this is how the original episode started. I was the judge.
It was.
Did Sherlock not judge the very first one?
No, I volunteered to judge the first one.
Fair enough. Can't remember. I'll have to go back and
It was
rewatch.
Pulp Fiction, and Sherlock picked up the win.
Oh yes, you're right, yeah.
And then he beat me on Hook.
Yeah.
Before we knew that recasting films with lots of children was really difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised some of us haven't got knocks from the guards for Googling child actors. But yeah.
reason.
What happened? We do a podcast about recasting kids. Sorry. But no. Right, I have both picks there, lads.
Lovely.
I did for a long time do it, and I'll do it again now. I went over the rules in the dressing room, lads. I want a nice clean fight, and in the words of the great Mills Lane, let's get it on. Right.
Lovely.
So, I'm going to go out here before we start, right? V is obviously last.
Yes.
Right? So, I'm going to go, I'd say Evie will be second last, yeah?
Yeah, Evie's second
Yeah,
last.
you have to.
And Eric is third last, I would say.
Yeah. So that's
After
that's
that,
how I would have.
After that, it's kind of a free for all, I think.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure where you wanted Eric put in.
Yeah, I'd have gone. Yeah, third last. I'd say he's the next biggest after the main two.
Yeah. So we'll start it off then with Peter Creedy.
Creedy. Okay.
Yeah.
I went to here with he's a known actor, but he's not, the biggest name in the world. I think he'd suit this really well. I went with, especially just his demeanor and all that stuff. I went with Richard E. Grant.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
I think he's only been used once, and it was by me for something.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was in Gladiator. I used it.
Yeah.
For was it the original Marcus Aurelius?
Could have been. I can't remember.
Possibly, yeah.
The Emperor. Yeah.
I think he did suit this down to the ground, really.
He's a good actor, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he is. I had two here. So my backup was someone I have used before in Michael Chiklis, who I think could play it quite well.
Good actor.
Good actor. I think he could play that quite well. But then, as Sherlock said, tried to stay more to the to this side of the pond as well. Now the person I picked is a Scottish actor, but I think he could still fit in here quite well. And I don't know. You'll definitely know who it is, Greg, 100%. I just don't know if you'll like the pick of him. I went with David O'Hara here. I just feel he has that mean-looking demeanor on him. That I think he could just do that quite well. Like a real fucking piece of shit. Like sold out his boss, and then tried to backstab the guy you sold him out to as well and stuff. I was just
yes,
he'd fit into there real nice.
Yes, he was in Braveheart, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was.
He's been a lot of kind of side. He's been in a lot of side character things like that. He was in like Harry Potter's and stuff as well as a minor character, where he just looks like an asshole as well in that.
Since we don't have King's pick here as well, I do have Rob's pick.
Oh, big Rob's in the house.
Yeah, brilliant. Send it. Give us Rob's.
So for Creedy, he went with Aidan Gillen.
Yeah, someone I had.
Point Rob.
I had thought of Aidan Gillen, but he's just that little bit slight. Which is why I didn't go for him, because this character is meant to be kind of a bit of a bully, a rough and tumble bully.
Yeah.
And Aidan Gillen's a bit more of a from the sidelines pulling the strings to get what he wants sort of guy, I had thought of him, but
if it had been a triple threat, Rob would have been one up, because that's a hell of a pick. And you know what?
I think Richard E. Grant is just fucking, intimidating as all balls. When he turns on the mean factor, he has it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I went with. Like David O'Hara is not a huge guy either. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not physically huge, but I just feel he has that mean bastardy face on him, and he can do the intimidation that needs to be done. Like,
yeah, he certainly can. I know him from a few things now, just looking through the IMDb. He was brilliant in Doomsday as well.
Yeah, it's incredible how much stuff he's been in. Like you don't even think that he's been in that much, and then you're like, holy shit, he was in all of these.
He's the informant in The Departed, isn't he? Inside Nicholson's crew. Remember he gets shot and he dies on the.
He is. Yeah, he's the informant that they didn't know was an informant, or that the user viewer.
That nobody knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is going to be 1-0 to Sherlock, because I had Richard E. Grant.
Oh.
I was really happy with David O'Hara as well. I really liked.
I'll tell you what, it's a good show. It's the first time we've used them, but Richard E. Grant was the first name that I put down. As it says, I didn't rewatch this. I just looked up sort of the characters, and I was like,
"Yeah,
I know you."
Yeah, see, I rewatched it, and David O'Hara was just. I was like, "Oh, he'd fit in there nicely as that mean little bastard." Like, and
he's a proper thug character as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and like he sells out. He sells out the leader Adam, and then tries to kill V as well. Like he's just like a little shitster who fucking backstabs everyone he can get a chance to, and then he's terrified when he realizes it won't work.
Rob's pick would have actually overtook mine. I'd have moved away and went with Gillen.
see, Gillen's just not intimidating. Gillen's an asshole, don't get me wrong, but he's not intimidating at all.
I don't know. There's certain roles I've seen him in.
He's a string puller. He's intimidating because he's, he has information on people like all the time. He's always just in the background pulling strings and being an asshole. He's a real puppeteer, like.
I suppose, yeah. You're thinking about it that way. You're probably right.
Like if Aidan Gillen walked up to you into the street and like tried to intimidate you, you'd kind of be like, "Listen, mate,
you've got loads of money. Punch me in the face and I'll sue."
No, but like I'm not saying specifically, but like someone who looked exactly same build, everything of Aidan Gillen, you'd be like, "Listen, you're not intimidating anybody, mate. Fuck off over there." You know what I mean?
I do the Don King from Rocky 5. Touch
that's
me.
Exactly.
And I'll
when you
sue.
said that, said that, that's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah. No,
then he hit me and be like, "Sue me for what?"
Yeah. No, that'd just be that's the way I would have looked. Like I did have Aidan Gillen as a thought, and then that's why I didn't even put him in like as a backup, because I was like, he's just too physically unimposing.
Right then. So we're gonna go 1-0.
Yeah.
Camp holds the ropes. I'm gonna go one here. I'm gonna go Adam Susan here.
Adam Susan, the kind of big bad, I suppose.
Who they don't call Adam Susan throughout the whole film. They keep giving him a different second name.
They do, yeah.
And
but
it's
John,
never
the late
never
great
explained.
John Hurt, anyway.
Yeah, but they never explain why he's got a different second name in the whole film at all. Like it's never brought up.
I know. I think it might be in the graphic novel.
Yeah, it's a very strange one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I struggled with because he's the big bad, but he's on the screen for kind of seconds here and there on a TV screen.
Yeah.
And then you see him when they're like down in the like sewers or whatever, or in the tunnels, and he's like, they kill him. That's it. Like that's his whole role here,
True.
So when I was first watching it, the first name that came to my head was Billy Bob Thornton. And I think that was just kind of the gruff kind of look of him. And I just I was thinking that, and I just said, just don't know that he fits into that role too well. And I wanted to, here I did go British again. Now I went a little bit younger, but I think this person can, there's no definitive age of this person. He's just the leader of that political party, for want of a better word. So I went with someone who can play, a leader in that sense, but can also be kind of cowardly when he needs to be. Fantastic actor, and one that we used quite a lot at the start, but haven't used in a while. I went with David Tennant.
Good show.
I went, and a lot of the exact same things you said describing David Tennant. You can describe this guy as the exact same way. I went with Martin Freeman.
Oh, I could be in trouble here.
I think Martin Freeman would be very, very good for this.
I'm not worried about this one, but if you take this one, I'm worried about a different role.
I will give you Rob's as well. While we're here. Sorry, this was for Adam.
King Rob.
He did go Doctor Who as well. He went with Peter Capaldi.
I don't know who Peter Capaldi is because I don't actually watch.
He was the Doctor after Matt Smith.
See, I don't watch it.
I've used me before.
I've used Capaldi. I used Capaldi in Shaun of the
Dead. And it took away from, it was the Bill Nighy character you put him in for.
It was, yeah.
Oh, I do know who he is. Actually, sorry, I do know who he is. I wouldn't have known him as the Doctor. I've never actually watched Doctor Who. I keep meaning to, but then never getting around to it.
Very good.
I just never get around to it. So, no, I do know who he is. That's a good shout as well.
I had one name here up until about half an hour ago, and as I said, I didn't rewatch the movie, so I can't fully remember how much time they were in. But the pick that I had will be out there, and you'll be like, you'll either love it or you're gonna hate it, because I can't really remember the movie as it is. I had Jude Law for ages.
I did consider Jude Law.
Okay, I can see Jude Law.
I did consider Jude Law for a bit, yeah.
And then I'm just like, do you know what? I was looking at something, and then I went down. I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I went Tom Hanks here, just because it's gonna be so out there.
I'm not too keen on Hanks.
I think
Hanks. Jude Law. I think Jude Law would have been the better pick there, but I can see where you're going with it.
Yeah. I think Hanks has a film either coming out or just came out. A man called Otto. I
Man
haven't
called
seen
Otto,
it
yeah.
yet. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if he's like an asshole in it or what the story is. But
He's a lonely old man.
no,
who's
I get
grumpy.
that he's meant to be
Yeah.
a lonely old man, but I don't know, does he come across as like a massive asshole? But like when I see Tom Hanks, I don't think, oh, there's the
that's
big
why.
bad.
That's
Do
why
you
I
know what I
went.
mean?
That's why I went out there, just
Oh.
a bit out there.
Wait, go and watch Elvis. He's one of the biggest assholes you'll ever see.
Oh, is he? I haven't seen
Oh my
Elvis,
God,
but-
you actually hate him.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
he's
I'd say
fantastic in it.
everything else I've ever seen of him, he's never the big bad. Do you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
the lovable guy. You're like, oh, go on, Tom.
He's
Right.
he's America's granddad or America's uncle, I should say.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, how a good guy.
That's why I said, you know what? If I put him, I'd like to see him in a bad guy role.
Yeah, watch Elvis, lads. He's such a fucking
It
asshole.
is on the list. I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah, as it says, I changed just there late on, just to be different.
Yeah.
And I figured one of the 2 years might have went Jude Law. And
I had thought Jude Law, but when I had David Tennant, I was just very happy with Tennant. So
Yeah, same when I thought of Martin Freeman. I was just like, yeah, he suits the leader of a cult.
Right. Well, Ted, you brought up a point there saying that if he takes this one,
I'm in
you're
trouble.
probably gonna lose another one.
I would think so, yeah, because I've used Martin Freeman elsewhere. Like,
You're extremely lucky because I've used them elsewhere as well.
Oh,
ooh.
So, as for that, I'm gonna go with David Tennant here, and it's gonna be 1-1.
Oh,
Although
thank
I
God.
can see where you're going with Martin Freeman here as well.
Freeman
Yeah.
could work there. It's just I think I put him in somewhere else, and then
I have a feeling you two have him in the same spot, which is not going to be good for me.
I actually think I don't. I actually think I might not have him in the same spot as Greg. I think I might have used him elsewhere.
Oh,
But like I don't know where Greg's is, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But
none of you know where mine is.
no,
Yeah.
that's
I
what
can
I mean.
see
Like,
where yours are if I want to, but I like
Yeah.
going along and
oh no, I never look at them. I only look if there's a
No.
draw.
yeah, right. So we're 1-1. And we're gonna roll on here, right? Let me just put a mark through that so I know which ones we're on. And we're gonna go with Dietrich here.
Dietrich. Okay. The old
Oh.
Stephen Fry, the really good guy in this movie, let's be honest.
The dad.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah,
basically
he's
your
the,
dad.
he's the father figure. Yeah. And he's just such a nice guy in it. I actually got the same pick as Rob here, coincidentally. I think
Shenanigans.
for a long time he was, kind of the UK's uncle. I'll kind of say that he's kind of moved into the kind of father and grandfather role, if that makes maybe not grandfather. He's not that old.
Hello, Del
I
Boy.
Oh
went
yes.
with Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Ooh, that was one I
Yeah.
thought of. I will say it was one I thought of. I didn't
Just
put him on my
for-
short list, but
For this role,
yeah,
Hugh
no,
Grant would
I can-
suit him absolutely down to the ground.
I can see where you were going with that.
Yeah.
And I probably should have stuck with that because I did think of it myself. As my backup, I had Simon Pegg. I was kind of thinking of the Simon Pegg from the
The
boys.
boys.
I was kind of thinking of
show.
him from there, but he's a bit too timid in the boys.
Yeah.
In that role, do you know what I mean? Like
Even in Shaun of the Dead and things, he's like that as well.
yeah. And the thing is,
And Star Trek and
yeah,
Mission
this-
Impossible.
this character is quite brave. Do you know, like
Very
he's
much
got,
so.
he's
Yeah.
got the Quran. He's not openly gay, but like he has images that are very clearly expressing it in his house that he is gay and things like that. Like
Yeah.
he's not. It references that he actually was friends with Evie's mother and father back in the day and stuff like that. So I was like, Simon
Not
Pegg
only
just
that,
doesn't-
he even in the face of when he's about to be captured, he's
Protects her.
brave in that time and protects Evie and
yeah. And that's it. I was kind of like, he doesn't fit that role. Simon Pegg doesn't fit that role.
Yeah.
The person I picked maybe doesn't fit it all that well either. I think he's just a big name in a big English name. and I think he could play the role of kind of the father figure to Evie quite well, because he's in and around the same age. I went with Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he could play that quite well, you know, like isn't afraid, isn't going to back down necessarily, but also has that kind of tender side to him.
Intriguing. It's coincidental that father and son match on someone. Someone's been slipping picks for help.
Shenanigans.
Not at all.
Right.
That's the only one me and Rob have matched on.
Shenanigans.
I will
But
say
Hugh Grant's a great pick for that.
I didn't even think of Cumberbatch nor Hugh Grant. I do have a Hugh though. I have Hugh Laurie here.
He was my backup. Hugh Laurie was my backup there, and it's coincidental that it probably came into my head because of Brian Laurie.
Yeah, well, that had nothing to do with it for me, but
yeah,
I just see him the sort of the latter stages of House when he's helping the doctor, actually helping the doctors, not being so much of a prick.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he fits in there. I don't know. I think I will be going Hugh Grant here.
Yeah, no, like I can't say that that's a bad pick. Like I kind of thought it myself at one point, and then I was like, I just kind of thought Benedict Cumberbatch at the moment is maybe just that little bit bigger of a name than Hugh Grant.
Absolutely, but Stephen Fry wasn't that big of a name when he done this. Like
he was in England. He was in
the UK. He was
a really big name in the UK at the time.
Was it 2004?
2005, yeah, he was a big name. Like, you know, he was a big
name.
It
wasn't long after he came off the back of doing the 80th thing or something, wasn't it?
I can't remember what he done, but he was a very big name at the time. So I was like, I want to go big name, and then I was like, Benedict Cumberbatch could play the soft fatherly figure to someone quite young.
I don't overly like Benedict Cumberbatch anyway, but
I can
see where you were going with it.
I don't really like him myself. I do think he's a good actor, but I just don't really. He's never sold to me massively either. But I think he can play that, you know, not fearful, but also protective and kind character if he needs to. But like, I can't say anything against Sherlock's pick. Like it is one.
Nobody can ever say bad about Hugh Grant.
No, but Hugh Grant is one I had thought of myself, and then just was like,
it was a good show.
It's just like, is he the name value that he used to be? And I suppose really he probably is, and
he is. Yeah.
I overthought it.
He's not the love interest anymore.
Yeah, he's a bit old now.
Yeah, I think I just overthought it. I just overthought it and went with someone a little bit like more currently famous, which I probably shouldn't have done. Like,
well done, Big Rob. You picked up another point there. So that's Rob 2 up. Carl, you have no points. Ted has 1.
I don't know. I think I argued you away. I think I argued you away from Aidan Gillen.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
so,
maybe.
Sorry, Rob, you don't get that point.
But that is right. We'll go with Potro here.
Rothro, played by Roger Allam.
Yeah, because then we'll have the 3 that we said at the start.
Yeah. So this one I kind of struggled with.
Yeah, me too. This is my wild card.
This I originally had as a backup. It's somebody I've used before. But I had Richard Kind here for a little bit because I think he can be that idiot, but he can get very angry and, you know, these are invading our country. It is like all that. I think he could do that quite well. But I just don't know that he's meant to be like this really, really bad guy, whereas Richard Kind is more just of a buffoon.
Annoying.
Yeah, he's just a buffoon who gets angry. Now he actually is a bit more of an asshole in the likes of Gotham and stuff, but he's still a buffoon in that at the same point. So he's always on that borderline of being an asshole, but an asshole because he's like a buffoon. So I didn't settle there, and this is where I put Martin Freeman. I think Martin Freeman could deliver those angry speeches of like, these people invading our country and we need this and get them out and all that. And, you know, I felt he'd fit in there quite well. And, you know, like he's a big name, a big English actor as well. So
I like Martin Freeman. He's a good actor.
I'm guessing that could be where Greg had put Freeman as well. That's where I thought.
I actually don't. I think Greg went elsewhere with Freeman, but
I went with someone I don't know if he's been used before, and if he has, he's only been used once. He can definitely bring the anger when he wants to, and he very much looks like a villain. I went with Sean Bean.
Sean Bean won't take a role where he dies anymore. Because I thought of him and he's come out and said, I will not take a role where I get killed anymore.
That was going to be my next question, because I says I can't remember the film. Does he die?
He does.
He will not do it because he's only 3 kills away from being the most killed actor ever.
And it's funny, Carl, because I thought Sean Bean as well. And then I went, oh, wait, he kills that guy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he literally came out publicly and stated it. If you want me in a movie, I have to survive.
No.
Yeah. But
who did Rob
there's
have
a problem.
there? Well, who did Rob have there?
I'm giving the point to Rob.
Rob had Andy Serkis.
Oh,
I'm not giving the point to Rob.
I don't know.
He said he won't come out and do a role where he gets killed. But unfortunately, I have Martin Freeman elsewhere.
I think I know where you have Martin Freeman, I brought this up when I judged last week. You're not judging based solely off your list. You're judging off what the two people have against each other.
This is very true, but he also did. That was the reasoning why he didn't choose Martin Freeman for me.
Well, I don't know. Would you have gone Freeman over Tennant?
I probably would have, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I did say it previously, but like you've got Martin Freeman who
this
will take the role.
This is where I put
Sean
myself
Bean who
into.
won't take the role. Sean Bean will not take this role. Like,
this is where I put myself into the issue where I should have really went and rewatched it.
Yeah. Like Sean Bean won't take this role. Like, and he's publicly come out and said it. So it's kind of like you are stuck with that now. It's not a favorable position, but like Sean Bean is not taking the role.
That's the only other issue.
Well, if you want to go back and give me the point for,
I'm not backtracking.
The other one.
No surrender, no retreat. It's 2-2. As it says, if you matched my list, fine. But as it says, it's not my list that I'm picking from.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised because I do think I know where you had.
That was the reasoning you didn't give me Martin Freeman for Adam. In fairness, that was the exact reason.
I could have given you other reasons, but it was just
you even just said there you probably would have gone for Freeman over Tennant.
Yeah, but you've also now picked an actor that will not take a role where they die. You know what I mean?
True,
you might as well have picked a retired actor.
We wouldn't have known that at the time when you had gone for the Tennant pick over Freeman. We wouldn't have known that I had chosen Sean Bean.
Potentially, but it wouldn't have mattered because you'd lose. Like you'd lose this point regardless because it's nearly like we're choosing a
not if Martin Freeman was already picked.
Yeah, but
I would have by default gotten this point.
No, but you've basically picked a retired actor, so you can't give them that role because the actor's retired.
I mean, Jim Carrey was a better pick for Hades than.
Defoe, he wasn't.
No, it wasn't over Defoe. It was over.
I went Defoe.
It was over fucking Loki.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. But Carey was retired.
He was.
And he's apparently not now. Apparently he's not. He's apparently out of retirement already. So
yeah.
you were double screwed there, Greg.
You were fucked over.
He's coming back out, is he?
Yeah. Apparently he's going to do a Grinch 2 and potentially a Sonic 3.
I had a feeling he was going to do Sonic 3 anyway.
I don't want to see a Grinch 2, but I do want to see Sonic 3.
I really don't want to see a Grinch 2. I've seen Cumberbatch do the Grinch in cartoon. It was terrible.
No, well, this would be a continuation of his one. So
Yeah.
I just don't know where they'd go with that. But I do want to see Sonic 3.
Yeah, I did. I tell you what, they've done a really good job with Sonic 1 and 2.
Very much so.
So are we going
We're
2-2
all.
there? 2
We're
all?
going 2 all. This is
Right, well.
unprecedented, and I put myself into a situation because I didn't go and watch the movie,
Yeah.
which is very much unlike me. I normally watch everything. I just couldn't bring myself to this. And it's the same. Yeah.
So it's back to
2-2.
you. Back to you, Sherlock. For
2-2. Oh, sorry.
Eric Finch.
No.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who my pick was?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
I went with Ricky Gervais here.
Oh no.
Oh no. I get where you're coming from, but no.
That's all right. Good thing I'm the judge. Right. We're gonna go Eric Finch here.
Eric Finch.
Oh,
Perfect.
This is where you had
Freeman.
Freeman.
Freeman is gone. This is
This
where
is-
I had
yeah.
Freeman. So
Yeah.
someone has to win me over here.
I had Freeman as a backup here at one point, and then I obviously
Intriguing.
moved him to Lewis.
Fair
More
enough.
because I didn't like
Yeah.
Richard. More because I wasn't convinced on my Richard Kind pick. Which, in hindsight, if I just left Richard Kind there, I would have won the point anyway, and then I could have had this point for Freeman. So
The old
I
2-pointer.
yeah,
I kind of went with it. Stephen Rea wasn't the biggest name, so I went kind of, even though it was a large role.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before you make your pick, right? I'll
Yep.
put my backup in as my main pick. So if one of you match my backup.
I won't match your backup.
I probably won't
Fair
match it either.
Go ahead.
I went with Stephen Graham.
Fair enough.
He can play a cop.
Hmm?
He can play a cop
actually-
well.
That show that he was doing on BBC.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So I
Yeah.
seen one season of it, and I don't normally like cop shows.
Yeah, no, he's good actor. I think he's been
Yeah,
used
no.
once before.
By
One
me,
time
yeah,
I-
and I got,
Oh, did you?
It was
Maybe
by-
twice then, because I think I used.
Yeah.
I might
Oh
have
yeah,
used them
you
once.
used them. You used them in The Departed
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
as a Boston person with a Liverpudlian accent. No chance on that one.
Oh yeah, that's where Kyle used them. I think
Yeah.
I might have used them as well, but I can't. I can't.
He's a
100%
very,
remember.
very good actor.
He is. That's why I think he'd suit this. He'd be really good in this part.
So this is one of the ones I took a little bit of a risk on. As I said, I had Martin Freeman here, obviously switched out. Another backup I had was John Hannah, who I think could do that quite well.
Ooh, it's a good show.
Maybe a little bit old for the role now.
That is what I thought. I don't think that John Hannah actually is even too old. I think he just looks older than he
He
is.
looks very old.
Because John Hannah's 60 and Thing was 59.
5.
Was he
Okay,
50?
well, John Hannah just looks old and frail.
Yeah,
He's
John Hannah.
looked that way since he was about 30.
Yeah.
And that's why I went against John Hannah here, right? Because I do think he would have fit in relatively well. But this is the one where I took a bit of a risk. This person has played a cop in something previously, I'm quite sure. But it's not an English actor. So I could be in a bit of trouble here. Not as big a name as they were a couple of years ago, but I went John Cusack, who I think
I know who John Cusack is.
I think he could do it well. He is in his 50s now, like mid to late 50s, I think.
He seems to be around forever as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think he could do this police officer role quite well, constantly investigating, even though they're telling them, listen, you have to stop. Like in Con Air, they keep telling them, like, just shut up, like, will you? And he just keeps pushing at them. And that's kind of what this character is. So I was like, he could fit into that quite well. Do you know what I mean?
You even see it when he was in 1408. He keeps pushing the room.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just has that kind of like, I'm gonna keep pushing it until I get the answer, like the full answer of what's happening here, even though I keep getting told to back off. Obviously though, not English, so that's where the bit of the risk came in. But I think he could do the role quite well. And I mean, if he can't do an English accent, all you have to do is say he moved over here and he's a police officer, like,
Who did Big Rob have?
He went with a big name. He went for Conor Farrell.
No.
I can see where he's coming from with Colin Farrell. I can see where he's coming from with the idea.
Maybe a few years ago.
Yeah, I think Colin Farrell's maybe too big a name, but I can see where he's coming from with Colin Farrell, like the idea there.
So you did say no, neither does it match my backup. Carl did match my
Stephen
backup.
Graham.
Oh Jesus, I didn't think Carl
Yeah.
would.
Yeah,
I knew I wouldn't. I knew John Cusack wouldn't have popped into your head for the role at all.
No.
But I think he could do it quite well, which is why I went with him. Like when I was
he's
watching
a
it,
good pick, all right.
I think it's kind of when I was watching it, right? Your man kind of looks like John Cusack does now. Like John Cusack looks quite
Stephen
like
Rea.
him. Yeah, he looks quite like him now.
I found watching Stephen Graham kind of develop over the last few years. He's kind of moved into those roles that Stephen Rea does.
Yeah,
He's gotten to be such a good actor recently.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying anything against Stephen Graham. I'm just saying like that's where I came with John Cusack. I was watching it, I was like, this character reminds me of John Cusack. And then I looked up John Cusack. I was like, geez, John Cusack looks kind of like him now as well. He could fit in there. Not that looking like him is in any way important. Do you know what I mean? It's
He also hasn't been in a movie that's been released in the cinema since 2010.
Has he not?
No.
Oh, he has. He was in that 2012 movie, wasn't he? The disaster movie.
I just had a quick look there. He hasn't been, and he's only been in low budget movies since 2010.
I don't know. Films were like they could have been in American things, you know. I don't know. Like I don't know where they were released and stuff like that. But it's not going to matter.
Sorry,
anyway,
he's 25 movies since 2010 has gone straight to DVD.
Yeah, and as I said, I did say his star isn't what it used to be, but you know, the name John Cusack is still considered like people still know who John Cusack is. Was kind of my point.
Yeah, no, the Raven came out in the cinema. That was 2012.
Yeah,
maybe
it's not going to matter.
He does have a lot of bad movies though. Time Machine was another one.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying, you know, like his name still does hold that value of, oh, that's John Cusack. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you know who he is. Yeah.
But like, it's not going to matter. Like Carl did match up to your backup.
Yeah.
Stephen Graham didn't even come to my head. I had John Cusack quite early there. Like had John Hannah and like too frail, and then John Cusack.
Would you yourself have picked Stephen Graham by any chance if you were a judge?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I can't say yes. I'll have to say no. I picked John Cusack because that's who I did pick. But I can't say that it's a bad pick. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, if it was Freeman and it was Stephen Graham, who would you have gone for?
Probably Freeman, just because he's a bigger name. Do you know what I mean? But like as I said, I had Freeman there, and then I switched him because I wasn't sure if I was happy with Richard Kind as Lewis.
I'll tell you now, you definitely wouldn't have won with Richard Kind anyway. I know it wouldn't have mattered.
I would have won with Richard Kind because I was against Sean Bean regardless. But
sorry, that was the last character. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah. No, so I switched because I wasn't sure if Richard Kind would take that role, or that he'd fit that role the way I wanted him to. But
right,
okay,
we move on
into the final two.
Evie, I'll tell you what, lads. When you look back, she got herself into a lot of big movies.
I said this.
She was younger.
I said this to Sherlock before you got on. I said this, like she was a huge name, like, and she still is. And I looked her up. She's like only in her 40s.
Yeah, she's been going. I think one of her first major roles, she was only 15 or something, 14.
Leon the Professional was one of her first, wasn't it?
Yeah, 14 or 15.
But like, you think she'd be in kind of her 50s or 60s because she's just been around that long, and she's always played kind of like, she's never been like a young teenager. It's always kind of been at the 18 up sort of roles where you think she just took so many, and she was arguably one of the biggest stars when this came out. Worldwide.
She was just off the back of Star Wars.
That's what I mean. Like worldwide, she's arguably the biggest star in this entire film.
Hugo Weaving.
He was just off the back of Lord of the Rings. So
Hugo Weaving was, but like I'm just saying, I'm not saying she definitely was, but the two of them are like,
yeah, absolutely.
You could have said to someone, do you know who any of the people on this film are? Those are probably the
Actually-
only two names people would have known, especially worldwide.
Actually, John Hurt.
Was John Hurt ever huge outside of England and Britain, sort of thing? Though,
He's an Oscar winner, isn't he?
Yeah, you can be,
Yeah,
but like,
but-
would like if you went over to a random American and said, "Do you know who John Hurt is?" They might be like, "No," but if you went over and said, "Do you know who?"
He's an alien.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like,
He's also a Doctor Who.
yeah, I'm just saying, like,
he's
when
also
you-
a doctor. Yeah.
when you think of like who are the bigger names, I think Portman is like easily,
Yeah, no,
arguably
she's-
being one of the bigger names, which
She's
is
phenomenally big. Like it
Yeah.
just seems like she's stayed at that level.
no, but even back then is what I mean. Like, and she was 23 then. Do you know what I mean? And she was already one of the biggest stars in the world. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So this one it's me, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
So
got to win the 2.
Yeah, it's 3-2. So this one, I could be in trouble with this one. So I struggled away with this for a little bit. At first, I had Millie Bobby Brown in here,
That was the
Yeah.
first thing that came to my head. Yeah.
and it's kind of because of the shaved head. I think the fact that they shave her head, and I think I was just kind of like, that's a simple choice, and it's a British.
And she's
Well-
such a bad actress.
Yeah, she also said she'd not do that again.
She did, yeah, but that'd be to actually shave her head. Like, I mean, I don't think they actually
You put a
shaved-
ball cap on, yeah.
I don't think they shaved Portman's head here. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Oh, they did.
Oh, did they?
She shaved her head. Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
well,
When you
yeah. Well, you could get away with it. Is my point. Like, you could have gotten
That-
away with a bald
that
cap.
scene of her in the prison with them shaving her head. That's her actual tears because she's crying about her hair getting shaven.
Okay. Well, I had Millie Bobby Brown there, and it probably was just based off they shaved her bald, and Millie Bobby Brown has
Yeah.
done that. But as big as Stranger Things is, I don't think Millie Bobby Brown is the star level of Portman.
And we've
No.
seen what she can do in her own vehicle in Another Homes, and she's awful in the second one.
She was very good in the first
Absolutely
one,
awful.
but I didn't watch the second one because you said it was so
Don't.
bad.
Don't.
I didn't like the first one. so
I didn't
watched
love
it.
the first one, but she was good in the first one. Another backup I had was Sophie Turner, who we've kind of used in a lot of roles like this. This is somebody
Yeah.
who can be broken, like can play the broken down character, but can also be quite a strong character in themselves. The last backup is one that has been used a couple of times recently, and I think if I thought this through, I think Greg probably would have been more likely to pick this one than the one I did pick. But I had Emma Watson as a backup, right? And I think she would take this role because it's a very strong and independent role. Do you know what I mean? And she does still command name value. But I wanted to take someone who is
Enough to
still
get in
like
Deep
right
Blue
at
Sea
the
anyway.
what?
Enough to get in Deep Blue Sea anyway.
Well, she's way too big to be the side actress in Deep Blue Sea, let alone the main actress, right? That was a absolute disaster between you two. But I wanted somebody whose star is like at its, not to say at its peak, but it's at its highest that it's been so far. And I went with Zendaya here. I think she can play that character really well. She can play vulnerable and she can play tough. And she's one of the biggest names for her age bracket in Hollywood.
She is.
And you do need the character to be quite young here because
Pretty
They
sure
do-
she probably is the biggest name in that value, in that age bracket.
yeah, there's probably arguments out there for one or two other people, but I think she probably is. But it has to be someone around there because obviously Dietrich is playing a kind of father figure to her, and like it's referenced that she's young in the film. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's where I think you're gonna win it. I don't think Zendaya is the right choice for the role. I get where you're coming from. I don't think Zendaya is the right choice for her, but she, Evie's meant to be 16 years old. And I completely forgot about that when I was recasting her. I think the person I chose could play the role very well. It's just I didn't take the age into consideration whatsoever. I went with Claire Foy. I think she would like the acting ability and being able to do everything that happens on screen, she'd be able to do it very well. She is a lot older. I think she's
She's nearly 40.
38. Yeah. So I didn't take the age into consideration whatsoever for the role.
Yeah.
As I said, if I had chosen someone younger, I wouldn't have gone with Zendaya. I don't think she is the correct profile for the role. But I
Yeah.
think Claire Foy would be great for the role itself. But she, again, it's old. She's a bit older for it, so it depends on if you want to age up or whatever. But that's Greg.
Yeah.
We'll leave that decision to Greg.
I think Sophie Turner is probably closer to the type of acting that's needed here, but due to the star power, I was like, I can't have Sophie Turner, who's kind of stepped away from acting a bit recently.
Now,
She had a kid or something, didn't she?
Now that I'm thinking of it, and I've taken the age into consideration, I'd probably go with Bella Ramsey.
I wouldn't. I think she's a terrible actress.
Fair.
The one from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
In
And
Game of Thrones. I think she's a fucking terrible actress.
Or maybe Maisie Williams.
I will say, right, and like, I know that this isn't necessarily like overly brought up in the film, but they do reference the fact that like she is meant to be a really, really good looking girl for her age as well. I don't know that Bella Ramsey falls into that category.
Fair.
Who did Rob have?
Who did Rob have?
Oh, Rob, he went with Daisy Ridley.
Yeah,
who is a pretty good pick.
I had considered Daisy Ridley, but yeah, I was just really going for star power here, and unfortunately, Daisy Ridley's star power just isn't where it is for. Well, just because people didn't like a certain fit, like didn't like the way
didn't like Star Wars, yeah,
how Star Wars went, but that's not her fault. Like, so
star power is going to win you this point, and the age thing is probably not going to help either.
Yeah,
the fact that she's nearly 40. If she had been closer to 30, you might have had a chance. I had Thomas and Mackenzie here.
Again, yeah, good actress. I just don't know that she falls into.
Yeah, I kind of went as good an actress as I could get in and around that bracket.
Yeah, no, she is a very good actress, but I just don't like. Again, I was going for just pure star power, and I think if you asked, I was kind of like, who? If I asked anybody these names on the street, who is more likely to be known? Zendaya. I was like, Zendaya or Sophie Turner. I said Zendaya is more likely to be known. Zendaya or Emma Watson. I said that could be close, but Zendaya is that little bit younger and still. I'd
say if you asked that, Zendaya wins them, both of them.
That's what that's what I mean. But I think if Emma Watson had stayed in the acting game, then she might beat Zendaya out on that. But at the moment, I thought Zendaya was just that little bit ahead.
The near 40-year-old just didn't help the case.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was someone closer, as you said, Zendaya's not the right actress for the role.
Yeah.
But it's going to get this point.
No, that's fair. I completely forgot about the age. I think Zendaya would do the role perfectly.
I think Zendaya could do the role. I do get where he's going, but I do think she would do that role very well. I think she can play vulnerable, and I think she can play.
Oh no, she can.
Confident.
She's fantastic, especially in that TV show that she's. Even for Euphoria, she's absolutely unbelievable in Euphoria.
Even in Spider-Man, she's able to play tough and stand up to people and be the kind of damsel in distress when they need her to be. Like, I think she just can do that role very well. I do get what you mean, that you don't know that she's the right actress there, but I think she's just the closest to the right actress that I can get.
Yeah, well, I was quite happy with my Thomas and Mackenzie there, but but look, we're down to the last, lads. We're down to the
one. This is the toughest one because it could be anyone.
Yeah, it's a man behind the mask.
It is.
It's a man behind a mask with a voice and who's captivating enough to lead people to join, you'd say?
It's less that he's captivating, more just that he's daring. You have to be daring and, kind of need a certain kind of build as well, because you have to be...
Demeanor, yeah. He's built.
demeanor, and like you can't be somebody old. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to wield the knives and shit like that. You know.
Okay. I was speaking to Ted beforehand, and I said that this was a risk for me, so I'm really disappointed it's a 3-3. Because this is an actor that Greg, you don't generally like, that I've chosen here. But
Ariana Grande, yes.
Melissa McCarthy.
Winner. Match.
But what I'm hoping is you don't see his face in the movies, so you've said before he's a very punchable face and you don't like him. So that's
I know who it is.
Hopefully going to play in my half. He is built. He does have I think he has quite a distinctive voice. And we've seen it in other movies where he's kind of the narrator as well. I think he's a very good actor. You may disagree, but I went with James McAvoy.
I never disagree that he's not a good actor. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
And I've made that abundantly clear. If he's the right pick for the role, I will pick him. I just
think
don't like him.
Of course, I think he's very good for this role.
The same reason I don't like Judy Greer. I'm not sure why, but I can't stand her. I hate her.
I also took a bit of a risk on this one. Now this was
Conor McGregor, is it?
It's not Conor McGregor. This was genuinely the first name I had down as I was watching the film. And as I said to you, Carl, I had this name, then I switched it to a British name, and then I switched back to it because I actually just liked it. Yeah. So the backup I had was Christian Bale, who I think, can have a commanding enough voice and can do that sort of stuff, but just don't know that he plays behind the mask the entire time.
Yeah, if you get Bale, you get his facial expressions.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, does he play behind the mask the entire time? Like, I know obviously he did in Batman, but they had the mouth cut out. Yeah. Now the person I did pick also played with a mask, but has had the face, the bottom of it cut out at times as well. But I think they can be captivating, and they can, they're built enough, and I think they have that name. The problem is that they aren't English, but I think you can get away with that here.
Go on.
Went to Ethan Hawke.
Oh, I don't.
A lot of it is based off Black Phone. I think he did Black Phone very, very well. And he was behind the mask so much in that. And I just think that it's meant to be someone who's kind of physically imposing, doesn't show fear, which is kind of the way he is in Black Phone. He's super confident in himself. I just felt he could, I think he's a great actor as well. Like, there's no denying that. So, like, I just think he could do the role quite well.
He's having a big resurgence in his career again.
Yeah, and I think he'd fit into that quite well. Like, obviously he's not English, but I don't think, I think you could get away with him not having the English voice here, because he's meant to have been burnt to a crisp in a bloody fire. So, all right, his voice is a bit ropey.
I'll tell you, Rob went with a completely wrong choice, I think. He went with Benedict Cumberbatch here.
No.
Out.
Yeah.
Out.
I think Benedict Cumberbatch is closer to Dietrich than he is to V here.
Yeah.
He also, I don't know, does Benedict Cumberbatch, his voice isn't
very monotone.
Yeah.
He does Smaug, didn't he, in the Hobbit?
He does do Smaug, and that when he puts on that accent, it is.
We're actually currently rewatching it. We just started the second one tonight.
I'm sorry.
The first one's not too bad. If they just finished at 2, they might have been okay.
Yeah, like 1 was great, was grand. 2 was just a little bit below it, and then 3 just cliff dive.
The third is unwatchable. The third is genuinely unwatchable.
It's just unfortunate because they took a book that was smaller than any of the Lord of the Rings books and dragged it out into 3 films, and you were like,
raped people for 3 trips to the cinema.
Yeah, but you're just like, you didn't need to do that. You could have done it in 2 if you really wanted to.
Which was also kind of good for me as well, because they all came out in and around my birthday, so that's what I used to do. It means I used to go and see it in the cinema.
They also added like a stupid amount of extra characters, but
James Nesby.
James
Nesby.
But Yeah, I don't know if Ethan Hawke has that much of a distinctive voice, does he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Have you seen
okay.
Have you seen Black Phone?
I haven't seen Black Phone.
Mate, I know you don't
Nice.
really like horror films. It's not so much a horror film. It's more Silence of the Lambs-esque.
It's more thriller
Um,
based. It's
yeah.
very good. He's really
Yeah.
strong in it.
Like it got to the point where it rated the highest horror for me of the year.
Yeah.
Well, it was on our combined list, the top 10 list, wasn't it?
It was,
Yeah, it
yeah. That's
was, yeah.
because it rated so highly for me and Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
Um,
loved it.
And I mean, this is a movie that was pushed back twice by over a year
Yeah,
and a half.
it was second. It was second on the Retrotainment
Mm.
movies of 2022.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I have 3 names here, right? I had Christian Bale as one.
Yeah.
I had Ethan Hawke as another one.
Okay.
Shirley for the Black Phone, and I had Charlie Hunnam as the other one.
I did think Charlie Hunnam.
Okay, he was in my mind at one stage as well.
I just think even more of as a bruiser, I guess. In my
And
head.
I'll show you now, right? So
Your mic's gone.
I hit the mute button. Sorry, lads. I'll show you the way I have it wrote down, so there's no shenanigans. I have Ethan Hawke at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Ethan Hawke is on top.
Bale, Hunnam.
Yeah.
Hunnam. Well, I didn't spell Hunnam right. Ethan Hawke was my pick.
Yeah, I think he's just so strong, and it is unfortunate you haven't seen Black Phone, Carl, because that really sells you on Ethan
It's
Hawke
the mask,
behind a mask. Like he just does it so well.
And the way it's so, I don't remember a whole lot of this movie, but I watched obviously a lot of the YouTube videos where they did have like some of the best movie quotes in it, and the movie quote that he has in this one, he speaks very similar to
How Hawke
Hawke does in Black Phone.
Yeah,
It's not as
right.
much riddles, but it's that kind of nature of it.
Yeah. No, yeah, that, and as I said, like when I first watched this, the first name I had down was Ethan Hawke for V. And then I went, oh, do I want to go someone British? Switched it back to Christian Bale. And then
Bale was my first pick.
When I was putting down the rest of the list, I just went, no, I don't want to go Bale. I said, I don't care if Greg agrees or disagrees. Ethan Hawke, I just think is perfect for it. Like, and I switched back. Like, and I knew it could have been a risk because obviously not an English actor, but I think he's just so perfect for that role. Like,
I think McAvoy is not a bad show for it. I just can't picture him carving someone up with a knife.
Have you seen Split?
No.
No, I know Greg hasn't seen Split. Split is very good, but it's
I liked Unbreakable, and I didn't think it needed any more, so I haven't bothered watching any of the rest of them.
The trilogy of that is really good.
Split is the best of the trilogy.
Split, and then Split is the best. Unbreakable is second, and then Glass is third, I'd say.
Now,
By far, third.
What?
By far, yeah.
I have them there. They're on the list. I'll get on. I'm working my way through it.
Split is very good, and James McAvoy is brilliant in it. That's where I think people really recognized how good an actor he is.
He has 11 or 12 different characters or something in it, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just flips between them like with
like
ease.
That.
Yeah, this is where he really that's the film where everyone really realized how good he was as an actor. Like,
you should really watch it. You really should.
And then you'll see, like, when you watch Black Phone, you'll see Ethan Hawke do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's
the only difference
why
is the only difference is it's all behind the mask. The three different sections of the mask mean three different emotions.
Fair enough. Sorry.
Right.
Well, lads, I'm going to screw you. I'm going to absolutely screw you for next week.
Straight in, no lube. Let's go. Out with the movie.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Debbie Does Dallas.
And how he's are going to recast this, I have no idea, because it's so iconic in the role, in especially the two lead roles.
Okay, so two lead roles.
Shawshank Redemption, lads.
Space Jam, Bugs Bunny, and Michael Jordan. Shawshank, fuck.
Yeah,
Don't know if I
Yeah.
like that.
yeah. Shawshank Redemption.
You want to call it a
Recast
draw and just move on, Greg?
that.
No.
Thought I'd throw it out there, you know?
Do you know what? Someday we'll throw it out there, and King will say yes or something. And be like, "Yep, we're done."
I'll continue on in my reign of terror.
Shawshank. Jesus Christ.
That's not going to be fun.
I have been waiting to rewatch it for a while.
The
I have-
rewatching bit will be fine. It'll be all the rest of the work I have to do that I'm
I
not
have-
looking forward to.
I have that. I have a couple other, one of them long mammoth films. I know it's only 2.5 hours, or 2:45, or whatever it is. It's not the longest movie in the world, but
Yeah, but you
I
have
have
to
them there.
concentrate on it is the problem. It's certain fit like as good as it is, it's not one that you can have on in the side view. Do you know what I mean? You have to be concentrated on Shawshank the whole time.
let me ask you something, Carl. You must have seen that thing on Facebook, did you? About the movie plot hole as to how he got out and the picture fell down.
I did not know.
No?
I've seen
There's
that
a-
before.
There's a plot hole and been like, how did the movie poster fall down and no one's seen the hole? Because you clearly see when he's digging the hole, it's just tacked at the top.
True.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well,
It's a tough one. Right, well, I'll continue on as the champ.
I'll
But
take my week to try and figure this one out.
so will I. But as usual, don't forget to like, share, follow, all that good stuff. And don't forget to like, share, and follow Greg and King over on the slab as well. And comment below, let us know who you think, if you had different picks, if you thought were better, or what you thought of the picks that we had here. And until next week, good luck.
Glad.